I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for deceased members. Roll call. Attendance. Everybody's here except for Christine. And Robin is remote.
Sure, I don't know.
Correspondence, I don't have anything, so we'll hold off on Chief's report. Treasurer's report. Has everybody looked at it?
Okay, good evening. I presented you with a check register from the general fund for $47,695.56 and a capital check register for $210,272.07 for your approval or questions.
Any questions? What's your pleasure?
Motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Do I have a second?
A second, man.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Carried. Budget transfer?
Yes, I'd like you to approve an increase. It's not really a budget transfer, it's a budget change. You increase the expense and the revenue line, so it won't really affect the bottom line of the budget, but it will show insurance recovery revenue and a line that I created for insurance recovery expense. So that would be the server, the person who fixed the ceiling, and the electrician. And I'm asking you to increase both to $8,683.32.
What's your pleasure?
I make a motion to increase, as Robin said, $8,683.32.
I'll second
All in favor?
that. Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Any questions for the treasurer? Treasurer, have any other questions? All right, we'll go back to the chief's report.
Apologies for the third Thursday of the month snuck up on me. Only thing really with regards to new business, I communicated with Robin and with Commissioner Murphy regarding a quote for wheels to be added to the door prop, the big blue thing that's out behind engine 146. That will give us a lot more flexibility with being able to move it outside to use, so we're not being deafened by the clang of the metal, but also give us more opportunities to not leave it in the middle of the floor. The wheels are made by the company that made the door prop, and it was $885 including shipping. Commissioner Murphy had given the okay to go ahead and order it, so I sent a note to Robin asking her if she could cut a check using the quote that they had sent us and see if we can get it delivered. Nothing under old business. We have no membership changes. Expenses, these also include expenses from last month. We needed to replace C and D cell batteries. We picked some of those up for $44.80. We had two drills. One was a joint drill with Millwood and Chappaqua Ambulance for a mass triage active shooter scenario held over at Millwood's Firehouse. And we also had to, we're required by our physical provider to provide sustenance after physical since people have been fasting for their blood work. So that's for $263. And a replacement of the holiday lights for $1,125.23 for a total of $1,165.22. October alarms, we have 42. Just as a side note to that, we are running about 70 alarms more this year than we have this time last year. We're up to 442. Last year we were running around 373, so it's been a busier year. And with the holiday season, the town has asked us to participate in a number of their events. On December 1st, for Wine Around Town, they're going to have a fire pit, so they're required to have the fire department stand by. On the 3rd, they're going to have the town holiday bonfire at Rec Field. We'll be doing it jointly with Millwood. On the 16th, they're having pancakes with Santa. We provide Santa, they provide the kids and the pancakes. And the 17th is the holiday lights parade on both sides of town. So Millwood covers their side, we cover ours. We map out the route, we decorate the trucks, and off we go, tossing candy canes to everyone. Everything's been attached to the report. I will try to scan it and send it to Robin and Christine electronically, but I literally just finished putting it together.
Thank you.
What's your pleasure on his expenses? And I okayed the lights.
Motion to approve? I second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
And as a quick aside on the lights, I did speak with Westchester Tree Life, who very kindly put the lights up on the tree for us free of charge. And they will also take them down this year in such a manner that we'll be able to reuse them. In the past, they've been taken down late, or they've been taken down in such a manner that the lights have not been reusable. So I had a conversation with the owner today, who is very appreciative, by the way, of all of the use of the parking lot for their workers. So he's being more than accommodating with helping us.
Approval of the minutes of 10/19/23.
Motion approved?
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Committee reports. House. Refrigerator and freezer. You didn't have it, you need to order a thermostat for one side, and the other side had a broken wire in it. I get that fixed. The chairlift, I have to get a drawing in order to get the permit. So that's all in the works.
Who does the drawing?
I have to talk to Pete, see if Pete will do it. He's got the regular, he's got
Because I
drawings.
imagine it needs to be
He's got the
dimensional,
drawings of it.
right?
Yeah, he's got the drawings of it, so I just gotta see, getting to break it off, to do, put it apart. As soon as that's done, I'll get that ordered. And that's all I have. Medical, physical, climate, that's all done. Commissioner Frank, technology and building.
Well, technology, we've all gotten our iPads, which is very nice. And we even figured out how to update to Eastern Standard Time. Thank you. As far as projects go, well, we've all been participating in the project. We've had meetings so far, and there will be further meetings. We've spoken about the public address system, the digital video surveillance system, spoke about having 2 generators in addition to the 175 that we have now. I think we came to the agreement that there will be 2 addresses here.
No.
Did we?
2 building addresses.
Oh, yeah, sorry,
2
yes.
mailing
I'm sorry, yes,
491 and
yeah.
495.
Yes. The town, since it's quite a project we're doing, the town itself is not by themselves reviewing everything. And the company they hired is JHW Plan Review Services. So the cost of that, I would assume, is borne by the town, because I guess the town engineer, it's just too much, there's a lot there. What else? Well, we spoke about approval for the kitchen, and backflow was discussed, that Joe Modafferi is involved with that. That's pretty much it. And everybody has been, all of us, even though I gave them the report, everybody has contributed here. Thank you all.
The sanitary line, that's gonna get cambered tomorrow,
Okay.
right, 11 o'clock.
All right, good.
So, and I'm not quite sure, I did get a report from, I think it was a gentleman must have did the flow test. And I didn't get a chance to read it yet, but I will get a copy out to everybody.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, that's all I
Commissioner Roche, insurance.
Yes, sir.
plans.
Insurance. So I've been going back and forth with the estate of Doug Hunter for his condition was that he had bladder cancer, and that was the autopsy report. Bladder cancer is is one of the cancers that's identified as a fire, I guess, issue that, you know, is contractable through a firematic.
Yeah.
What they didn't have was, they consulted a lawyer to file this, and the lawyer determined that it was too late. It was, I think, 60 days or 90 days you have to file from the date on the death certificate, and we're way past that. So I've been working with his executor of the estate, and this week we finally came to the agreement with the lawyer that it wasn't feasible to do. Plus, it states that you have to have 5 years of a fit test. And I went and dug his file. I didn't see anything regarding a fit test.
Well, fit tests are not kept in individual file, they would be upstairs in our office. Like, I
Okay.
have everyone's for the last few years. I mean, but the reality of it is I highly
I
doubt
doubt
Doug was
that-
having one, because we weren't making them mandatory before he went life inactive.
Okay, so
So-
I went in there to check before I went to you, and then it was determined that, you know, this was a no-go anyway, so I didn't reach out to you. I would've.
If I could ask possibly that for the, I don't know if included in the insurance or the welcome pack, but these steps that we're going through, because Doug is really the first person with the, you know, the cancer claim and things like that, that some of those details be delineated so that members coming in, we can, you know, make sure that they're aware, because unfortunately, I think this may be something in the not so distant future we've got to address with a couple other people.
Okay. I can put an outline for you for that.
You know, and well, I think to maybe double check with Robin with when they send the insurance documentation out, maybe that's something to be included in that, you know, save for your records or whatever, because, you know, keep in mind, we're looking at people joining in maybe 20 years down the road, you know, when they're no longer active and when something were to occur, you know, and if we need 5 years worth of fit tests, you know, is that 5 years from date of exposure, 5 years from diagnosis? There's a lot of different variations of what that 5 years means.
Well, I think this was evolving too.
Right.
Over the past 3 years or 4 years. So I think things kind of, you know, came about, and I expect more changes to come down, but I could certainly do that for you and put an outline together. The other thing is the server. Server is in place, it's up and running. Red Alert is up and running on the server, so I think to do an upgrade, I think it's a $2,500 fee from Red Alert that they want to do.
Is that what she's, what you gotta do.
I'd have to check with Greg Lang, he's been taking care of the technology side for me.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but I know we've been working in concert
Greg Line
with,
about this, yeah, and his recommendation was he'd rather have them do it rather than A1 do it and possibly,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
without
mess
a
something
doubt.
up or
Yeah.
whatever it is. He would rather spend the $2,500 and have Red Alert do it.
because that's our legal books and records of what goes to the state, so I think having Red Alert do it is definitely wiser than a third party.
Agreed.
May I ask a question?
Mhm.
Is this as a result of the new hardware we installed? Or is this just because there's an update available?
Both.
Okay.
And it was discovered when we were looking at the server in the chief's office, most of the applications and software we had on there were extremely old. Some were close to being end of life as far as even being a supported vehicle. So we even had looked at what the cost would be to have Red Alert host the software via the Azure cloud. And it's cost prohibitive, it's much easier for us and less expensive for us to maintain it on the server here. The trade-off is to get it updated and keep it in sync with where it should be. You know, I don't know if there's more features that are gonna be, but it's definitely the software versioning needs to be updated.
Yeah. So that's where the $2,500 comes in. If they come in and they access our server and they do all the upgrades and everything else, and they can test it and do whatever they need to do to make sure that we, you know, stay up and running.
When does
So,
that check have to be written? Is it prior to them addressing?
I have to work with Greg on that. I'll let you know.
Okay.
That's all I have.
So you're recommending this, you're recommending to do the new server. Do I have a second?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay. Commissioner Smith?
Good evening. The tower ladder was taken to the service shop in Putnam, I guess it is, Worcester area, on Wednesday and returned on Friday. All the issues that were addressed were repaired. They found a lot of little things like some debris in some of the air tanks. They put some auto drain valves in there. And the shoreline auto eject socket was indeed found to be defective and replaced the guts, not the outer bezel, what yellow cover. Seat belt retractor was replaced. Front air tank, brake air tank was found to have a leak, and it was repaired. And the batteries were retested. No problem found there. Let's see. Utility 155 was inspected, had 2 front tires replaced at the recommendation of the service shop in Mount Kisco. They ordered several parts in relation to the DEF system so they could check clear the check engine light, and had to stay in the shop overnight. Engine 146 was inspected at its annual PM. There's some light bulbs reported to be out. It's still not working. Chief Lang and I think that we can probably change them ourselves. It's in the rear compartments, left and right. So we'll have to take a look at it. And if worse comes to worse, we'll take it to Mount Kisco and see if they can do it. I called the integrator for the Tahoe, and we're still waiting on the iPad cradle. He has a expectation that it will be in somewhere in the first week of December, early December. That was his quote. We have another source if we wanted to go for it, but it will take. He has a wait time of 4 to 6 weeks, so I figured we might as well just wait and see how it shows up at the original integrator. I had to buy 4 microphone cables for Utility 206 and 2063. They have Kenwood VHF radios, and the mic cables were fraying pretty badly. The plastic on the outside that you touch and see was just falling apart. So I got them, and I gave them to Chief Lang, and I think he installed them, and he was going to test them. I haven't been back yet. The replacement batteries for the Chief's VHF police portables were ordered. They were received, and I gave them to the Chiefs to install. The emergency standby generator, I wanted it to be load tested, but it's getting late in the season, so I'm not so sure I want to do it just before winter. Today we had a low temp alarm in the generator. So I called the service company, and they said, well, go check check the fuse and check the circuit breaker and so on. And it turns out that the heater itself that's inside the shroud is defective. So they're sending me a quote, or a quote, and I'll have to sign it and get that sent in as soon as we get it. Let's see what else. That's about it, really. Robin, tomorrow I'm going to call the lawyer, our lawyer, and ask him to see if he can shake up the people out in Ohio that were doing our ladder testing, and see if they can get them off top dead center and get them movement, so that we can see where we get that reimbursement. All right. I don't know. Were you trying to say something, Robin? You're muted, I think.
I was just saying thank you.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Could I ask a couple of quick questions? The light bulbs in 146 with the compartments, you mentioned taking it back up to, any reason they didn't change them when they noticed they were not functioning?
I think they just forgot.
Okay.
That's my guess.
With regards to shuttling apparatus to Hudson Valley, I know that, they came and picked it up, they charge us a fee for doing so.
Sure.
Have we ever explored being able to pay our members similarly to how, we had a member that was disinfecting apparatus during COVID? It would be nice to be able to offer to our members whatever your rate is that they're charging you from Hudson Valley. And if we have to create a W-4 for them, create a W-4, just like we would have for the individual disinfecting the apparatus. But, years ago, and I know that policy had to be changed because we weren't allowed to, but members would take apparatus across the river, members with CDLs in particular, because we were very particular about who was driving them across the Tappan Zee. So is that something we could explore?
It wasn't because they were particular who drove across the Tappan Zee Bridge. Law states.
No, that's what I meant. The
They're not
law
going-
was, no, it wasn't that we were particular. The law was, required that you're going on an interstate. No, it's, and again, I'm not being disparaging to it, but the fact if we've got the opportunity to pay somebody to do it, could we possibly reimburse our members who are qualified drivers on the apparatus to do so?
While I'm on the phone with the lawyer, I'm gonna see if he can do a little research and find out where we can go with that. Because I would much rather keep it in the house if we could.
Well, again, and I would use as a model what we were paying the individual who was disinfecting the apparatus in the firehouse for weeks on end during COVID. We were paying him, and obviously that was being paid by check, and they were being paid, a W-4 was created for them, so I would imagine it's not dissimilar.
That was a 1099 vendor, so they got a 1099 at the end of the year.
Wrong
and had
form, but
to,
yes, the same concept I would imagine we could apply to this.
I'll talk to Robin and I'll talk to the lawyer and see where we can go.
Yeah, I think it would be good to talk to Mike, because there's a volunteer versus paid issue, I believe.
Anything else?
No, that was all I had with that.
Okay. Last item is I have the check, and I'm going to send it in the mail after I talk to the people that are going to supply us with our polo shirts. And I'll send it to them as soon as they give me a little clarification and like that. So that's the last item I have.
Okay, old business. District policies. Well, did sit down, did start, and then we got sidetracked, so I apologize, but we will get back on it. All right. And I would suspect January 1st would have the bylaws.
They've been distributed to the membership 2 days ago, a red line version. And again, though I asked them to go back to their company representatives with their commentaries, not me, because I did not make the changes. I've needed to remind them, as such. But if you wanted to distribute that red line version to the board so you can look at it in tandem, because the way the process is going to work is that the membership reviews it, goes back with questions to their representatives, then we present it officially to you, and it has to hold over for 30 days. So probably not until February, March.
Just do it.
Follow that process.
Yeah, follow it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm realistically, March 1st, I'm thinking. I
Okay.
don't see
I'm
it
just-
January 1st.
I'm just asking, that's all.
Yeah, and the one thing, as I mentioned in the past, the officer requirements, we do adopt those changes. We are going to have to be flexible with, I hate using the word waivers, but a combination of the current rules and regs and the new ones, because with some of the changes that are being made, classes aren't being offered between now and when they go into effect, so.
Right. Okay.
So would that be like a contingency waiver?
I'm not using the word waiver because it's my ass on the line, excuse me, my tail on the line.
No, that's
Be a
that's one word.
It would be a
That's
combination
why I
of the
said
current rules and regs and the new.
That's why I said
proposed changes.
contingent upon the class being offered.
Well, all the rules and the officer requirements are contingent upon the availability of classes. Most of the changes that are being made, there are classes that are offered, but they're not going to be offered between now and when the new slate of officers would take office, in
Right.
theory, May 1st.
Understood.
So,
Okay. New business. Huh. All right. Authorization, assignment of letter, Wendell, AK, FAK, Mitchell's Associates. And I will read that. Or Mike, would you like to read it?
Oh, no, you got the letter.
Okay.
So I received an invoice from Wendell for $185,000, and this prompted, why
For how
are we
much?
paying Wendell as opposed to
Oh,
Mitchell
okay.
Associates?
Okay, well, here's the resolution. Whereas, on July 13th, 2023, Mitchell's Associates Architects, MAA, and Newcastle Fire District Number 1 entered into a standard form agreement between owner and architect. Document B101-2017 agreement. And whereas, on July 21st, 2023, MAA Mitchell Associates merged into Wendell Architectural Engineering, Surveying and Landscaping Architect, BC Wendell. And the agreement was assigned to Wendell by operations of law. And whereas Wendell requested all future payments under the agreement be made to Wendell as the surviving entity. Now, therefore, be it resolved, and all future payments shall be made to Wendell in accordance with the agreement. What's your pleasure?
Motion to accept the Wendell Mitchell agreement.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Any other new business? Public comment? There is none. Future dates. Next regular meeting scheduled for Thursday, December 21st, third Thursday,
nope,
23
well
at
noted.
7 p.m. with a work session beginning at 6:30. The work session will be held on December 18th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Email any questions or concerns for the board consideration for any meeting to bofc@ncfd1.org. And I'd like to go into executive session.
Do we also have a work session on December 6th?
I thought there was.
I
Just-
think there
that's-
is.
Yeah, there's
December
one on
6th.
December
Yeah.
6th, too. I want you to get that one.
It's Wednesday.
And that's with,
And then there's one on the 18th with Kevin.
yeah, that's the one she got here. But the 6th is for interior
Yeah.
stuff inside the building. All right, so like I said, I'd like to go in executive session. for a short bid.